Hi everyone, welcome to the Unit 2 lesson on pitch dictation. For this unit, we're going to focus in on the major scale and we're going to do the whole thing. So last unit, we had the pentachord, which was do, re, mi, fa, and sol, or scale degrees 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In other words, if you're in the key of G major, G is do, A is re, B is mi, and so forth. Now we're going to add on our last two scale degrees. So La is going to be 6. T, spelled T-I, is going to be scale degree 7. And then we're going to get back to do. Okay? So this would be a full scale. So if we're in the key of G again, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay? And the important thing to remember is that any G in any octave is going to be do. So if we look at the staff, I'll make us a grand staff here. And we're in the key of G. Do, 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 do. All those G's are do's. And we could do the same thing for, say, T, which is F sharp. Okay, so those are all going to be T. So it doesn't matter where we are in the staff. It's always the first scale degree is do, the second scale degree is re, the third scale degree is mi, and so forth. Now, there are some tendency tones that we like to be able to recognize. You guys learned 2 of them last week. Do is always a point of rest. So if we're in the key of G, do is going to feel like home. Sol feels like it needs to go back to do, okay? It's kind of a place of half rest, so a lot of times a melody will stop halfway through. It'll have like a semi-rest on sol. It's kind of like a question mark. Do. So that was do, re, mi, fa, mi, sol. Question. Sol, fa, mi, re, mi, do. Answer. So you'll learn to feel, I think I mentioned this in last unit, you will start to get used to how each syllable feels, but the important ones to recognize right off the bat are do and sol, and also our last one. So we've got do, very important. Sol, also very important. And T. T has a really hard time not going to do. Okay, if I played a melody like... It wants to resolve. It wants to pull so strongly back to do. So listen for that as we're doing these pitch dictations, okay? So for this week, you are going to do 8 pitches, and you're going to identify the solfege, and then you're going to translate those into notes. So for your assignment, you will do one set where it's just solfege, and then the next set is going to be pitches. And so you want to be writing down the solfege on your paper or whatever you're using, and then translating that into the pitches to really be solidifying the feeling of the solfege syllables in your head. Okay, so let's try some of these. So get out your manuscript paper, dry erase board, whatever you have with you at the moment, and we're going to set up a staff for D major, and it's going to be in treble clef, so it's going to look like this. Okay. Now our first pitch is going to be an F sharp. So what is an F sharp in the key of D? It's mi, right? It's a third scale degree. It's going to be mi. And we're going to have 8 pitches. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out 8 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I've got my 8 lines marked out there. And this first listening, I just want you to listen. So you're not going to write anything down. You're just listening. You're taking it in. Okay, so pencils down. Just listen. And we're in the key of D. Here we go. Here's your starting pitch. So here's Do. Mi. Here we go. Okay, so we're always going to end on Do. So you could go ahead and write that in on your paper. And if I ask you real quick, what does your gut say? Did we end on that lower Do below where we started, or do we end an octave up? Think about it. I'm not going to give you the answer yet. So this next listening, you should be able to get it with this next listening, because you are going to draw your arrows in between each line. So I'll give you a hint. The first one went up. Okay, so just draw your arrows in between the notes. Here we go. We end on that top one, right? That top Do up in the top of the staff. Okay. Take one more listening for your arrows, because we do have a few more notes this week, so there's more to keep track of. So one more listening for your arrows. Okay, so this one is all stepwise. So if you have your arrows, you can figure out your solfege, right? So let's take a look at what we have. We have up, up, up. So it's Do, or sorry. So it's Mi, Fa, Sol, La. And notice I'm writing in the solfege before I figure out the pitches. Mi, Fa, Sol, La. Then we go down. Then we go back up, up, and up. La, down to Sol, up to La, up to Ti, and up to Do. So notice that this, the T, is that tendency tone that pulls us to Do. Okay? So let's take a minute at your paper, what have you, translate those into pitches on the staff. So really, since you're going stepwise, you're just moving up and down on the staff. So up one for Mi, it's Fa or G. See, I'm just going up, and then I'm going to go up to Sol, up to La. So I don't want you to be taking the time to translate, right? Like you don't want to be thinking, okay, I'm in the key of D, so Sol is D, E, F, G, A. Okay, it's A. No, that's too much work. Don't do too much work on this. You're just going up on the staff when you're going up, and you're going down on the staff when you're going down. Okay, and see how Sol here is A, and A again is Sol. Back up to La, again is B. La, La, up to T, C sharp, to Do. And again, that T, the C sharp, really wants to pull to Do. Okay, good. So now let's listen with that answer showing. Let's listen once more. And try and sing it with me too, okay? Mi, fa, sol, la, sol, la, ti, do. So it's important to be singing those back and really get the feeling for it in your voice. It will help you ingrain it into your muscle memory. All right, let's do one with some skips. We're going to be in A major, and we're going to start on Do. Okay, good. So you should have this. So we start on Do. We're in A major, so 3 sharps, and 8 pitches. We're going to start on do, or we're going to start on do and we're going to end on do, right? Go ahead and take a listen. This first time, just listen. And then we'll do a few listening for our arrows. And then because there's skips, we're going to listen for where are our skips and where are our steps. So here is our key. We're starting on do. Here we go. Okay. So now, just draw your arrows. So are you going up or are you going down? Okay. Second, listening for the arrows. Okay. This next listening, I don't want you to write anything down, but I do want you to sing along. And I'm going to play it down an octave. It's more comfortable for me, probably for you also. La, 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 la. Okay. Sing it again. La, la. So let's draw in our arrows. I'll give you the arrow answer now. We're going up, 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 down, down, up, up. So you can kind of determine that we're going to end on the do all the way up here, the A above the staff. Now, how do we get there? Because that's not enough ups to be moving by steps, right? To get up there, it would just have to be a scale. So we have some skips. So let's break it down. Just sing that with me. La, la, la. Does that feel like steps? Da, da, da. This would be steps. Da, da, da. Instead it's la, la, la. So that's skips. So for skipping up, we're going do. A skip up from do is mi. A skip up from mi is sol. Do, mi, sol. And then what happens? Do, 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 do. Is that a leap or a skip? Okay, so let's think about our solfege ladder with that. We've got, so far we have do to mi, mi to sol. Now if we're skipping up, that would go to T, and T wants to resolve. So your question you can ask yourself, does it really want to resolve? No, it's just kind of hanging out. So it's just stepping up to la. You'll start to feel like there's some tones that are amorphous, and they can kind of go up or they can go down, and la is probably the biggest one of those. It's very, I don't know what I'm going to do. I could do one thing, I could do the other. Okay, so if you feel that, you've got yourself a la, especially if you're near sol. So we're going to step up to la, and then do we return or do we go somewhere else? Da, 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 dee, da. Sing that. to sol. Then so we're going somewhere new. It's not. It's a step. Do, mi, sol, la, sol, fa. Now here for this last one, it's a major third. Your other clue there is that, again, it feels amorphous. It doesn't feel like... So that would be really dramatic, right? That's actually a tritone, which you'll learn in the next video in the intervals. But we don't have that. We've got just nice, and it's pleasant. It still feels like it's in the key, but it doesn't have a strong pull. This note here lacks that strong pull that I talked about with T. All right, good. So that's the process that I want you to follow this week when you're doing your homework. You're going to be listening as many times as you need to on those practice exercises to just get your arrows, sing it back a lot. So you want to be doing this in a place where you can be singing it back. And then you really want to be focusing in on those steps versus skips. You may have a leap or two, but for the most part, it's going to be steps versus skips. So you'll have a set where it's just steps, just to get used to the format, and then you will get some skips, maybe a couple of leaps, and that's it. Okay? I hope that went well for you, and do let me know if you have any questions. All right. Bye.